A few months ago, I received this frenzied call from a male caller who identified himself to be a relative from my village. He claimed his wife was very sick and would die if I didn't send him money. He cried and begged, "Please save my wife's life." I just hung up the phone on him. Why? Many would ask, and my answer is simply because I didn't believe him. He called me back to back almost 30 times before I blocked his number. 2 days later, he started sending me WhatsApp messages with another number saying his wife had died and I should save him from embarrassment since he didn't have money to buy her casket. He even said he will send me the picture of her dead body, and at this point, I threatened to get him arrested. I told him that a poor man can't have multiple lines to use to harass people. He equally threatened to arrest me for not helping him. At this point, I was convinced he was a lunatic, so I blocked the 2 new numbers he used. A week later, he started sending me messages with a new number, this time begging me to save his son's life, and I again blocked him. If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? I am interested in reading your responses. Most of us get requests for help, but I narrated this particular one because I considered it bizarre. Even as I blocked him, I kept on asking myself if that was the right thing to do. What will Christ have done? I asked myself, and I replied to myself that Christ never faced the type of Nigerians one deals with. How can you tell a genuine request from someone who is just trying to take advantage of you? Very difficult. So we mostly go with gut instinct. We sometimes go with our mood at that present moment, or we treat everyone as a potential scam until proven genuine. The worst thing about this is that we are in very difficult times when most people are financially challenged. So it is expected that more and more requests for help will come our way. So what to do? Do you give till you also start begging, or what? How do you choose who to help and who not to help? Most important of all, how do you help with the right mindset? In one deep parable, Jesus said that when he comes in all his glory and sits on his throne before all the nations, he will separate the people one from another, as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. The sheep are honored for caring for Jesus in his time of need. Confused, they ask Yehoshua when they cared for him. His response is a powerful picture of Christ's profound concern for the poor. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, whatever you did for any poor person, you did for me. As recipients of his judgment, the goats are equally confused. When did they see the Lord and not care for him? Truly, I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Whatever you did not do for the poor, you did not do for me. In very simple terms, what we do for the poor or what we don't do for them are exactly what we are doing to God. This message is for me and all those who are confused about how to respond to requests, not knowing if they are genuine or not, or if we should treat with urgency or not. A few weeks ago, my older brother and I were swapping stories when I told him about this guy who had called me with different numbers a few months ago, claiming his wife was sick and then died, and then his son was now sick. He immediately said he knew the person. He said he did the same thing to him several years ago, and he sent him about 200,000 naira. He then came back with another story before he cut him off. So this guy has been using this story to scam people, and because of people like him, others who are genuinely in need might not get it because we don't trust. Last Friday, I received a WhatsApp message from an acquaintance of mine which simply said, "Boss, I hail you plenty. Your brother no dey see food eat. I beg, make you help me." The first thing that came to mind was the fact that I had helped him out some time ago and that he was here again. I imagined things were rough for him, so I just said to myself, I will see how I feel about this later and deal with it then. He's on my broadcast list, so last Sunday, which is 2 days later, I sent out Sunday nuggets to those on the list, and a few minutes later, I saw a response from his number saying, "Good morning. My husband is dead. We will bury him on Saturday." I just screamed and called the number, and his sobbing wife answered the phone. She said he came back home on Friday night and slumped. From the timeline, he died a few hours after sending me that request for help. So here I am now, having to send money quickly for his funeral when I didn't quickly respond to his requests for help. So many had I knowns, so many what ifs. I am racked with guilt. I am now going through all my messages to see whose SOS I might have ignored or overlooked. So many times I approach God for help. So what's wrong with the same person approaching me several times for help? Help is help. Nobody likes to be in a position of begging. I am not referring to those who do this to scam others, but now I know it's better for them to scam me than for someone to suffer or die when I could have helped in one way or the other. As guilt overwhelmed me, I now remembered when Nathan confronted David over the death of Uriah and how in contrition he said, "Hatasi," which means I have sinned against the Lord. I too have sinned against the Lord. As I ask God for forgiveness, I also ask all those who asked me for help and I didn't respond for forgiveness. It's my sincere prayer that we'll all be deliberate about how we help the poor, because it is God we are helping. God bless you all.